Of course, I don't know about you, but Rachel Reeves does seem very Diane Abbott-esque, shall we say, with her numbers, and unfortunately for her, something has just come back to bite her in the bum, because I'm sure if anything this will be seen as a massive blow to her qualifications, if any, that Rachel from accounts, shall we say, has to be the Chancellor at all. And I say that because according to this article, it says that the Treasury borrows more than expected in the blow to Reeves' spend and plans, and unfortunately for all of us, that can only mean one thing, can't it? That tax rises will more than likely be on the cards sooner rather than later, I'm guessing. But hang on a minute, just how much have we actually borrowed then? Well, apparently it says that Britain has borrowed £4.1 billion more so far this financial year than projected by the Office of Budgetary Responsibility, the OBR, in its updated estimates in October. Official figures show, and get this, the public sector net borrowing, excluding banks, climbed to £129.9 billion in the 8 months to December. Compared to the OBR's forecast, that figure would stand at £125.9 billion. Just makes me wonder, does anyone think that the junior doctors strike or the train strike or whatever other strike that Keir Starmer bowed down to and dished out the money to, does anyone else think that might have played a small part in this? I'm guessing so. And it comes apparently after the Treasury borrowed £17.8 billion last month, according to the Office for National Statistics, which was much higher than the £14.2 billion analysis that had expected. And the rise in debt is of course unwelcome for the Chancellor, who faced questions about her ability to meet her fiscal rules following a surge in borrowing costs at the start of the year amid a sell-off in bond markets. And all this just goes to show, I don't know about you guys, but it just shows to me that she is not a competent Chancellor at all. And Jeremy Hunt, even though of course a lot of people out there said his name should have begun with a silent C, even he seemed a more competent Chancellor in my opinion. But don't worry, because apparently the Chancellor insisted that Britain's public finances are, wait for this, now in order. Wow, thank you very much. Perhaps, who knows, she might kindly give the pensioners their winter fuel allowance back, although unfortunately I've got a feeling that we all might have to wait for hell to freeze over before that happens. And she apparently said they're now in order in front of business leaders in the World Economic Forum in Davos. Well, maybe, who knows, does anyone else think that might have been a little sweetener to say, it's okay, you can invest in our country, which obviously businesses should do, but with her as Chancellor dishing out all these announcements that everything's going to be okay, and then we of course look through the figures and find out that everything wasn't okay, if that indeed happens, then it isn't exactly going to go down too well, is it? And Miss Reeves outlined plans in the budget to increase public spending by £70 billion a year over the next 5 years, paid for by higher taxes and borrowings. So surely, from what I remember actually, I'm pretty sure she said she's seen all the figures and all that when she done the budget, so she would have known just how much the deficit was, presumably, and therefore more than likely thought, oh, that's okay, I'll put it on the UK credit card again, and all the working taxpayers can just pay a bit more money. Well, I'm sorry, Rachel, but in my opinion, if anything, you're kind of peeing on us and telling us that it's raining, aren't you, by saying things like there's no tax increase for the working person, but then given the employers and national insurance rise, because at the end of the day that will affect us more than anyone, because no business likes losing money, and therefore we are bound to end up paying more for things in the future, aren't we? So bloody well sort it out. Although, hang on a minute, because in a strange bit of news, for a Labour government who quite often appears to love higher taxes, Rachel Reeves added that her instinct was to have lower taxes and less regulation. Well, can we see some of that then, please? I mean, because at the moment, all we've seen is nasty announcements, basically, since they started in July, haven't we? But, of course, she said that she would not make any decisions that jeopardise the public finances. I think, if anything, we're going to have to take that with a little bit, no, actually a bloody huge grain of salt, because look what she's done to the public finances so far.